Namaste, Patreon family, and welcome to Advanced Avatar Master Practices. Today I have a biological and planetary JSeals removal. This is a 3-technique self-removal system that one can use to thoroughly self-actualize the removal of your own JSeals. And I personally have had remote JSeal removals where one does a long distance session and accesses my 15-dimensional bioenergetic shield. Even though these were good sessions, there has always still been a part of me that has felt that this is something I must do for myself. I must self-uninstall to be as thorough as possible, but also to create the awareness necessary to see where that seal was holding place inside of me. So I feel personally that I am the only one who can actually remove my JSeals, as I am the one who's in full control of my own bioenergetic template. Therefore, I created 3 techniques that one can use to remove their own JSeals in accordance to morphogenetic energetic studied structure, the biological and planetary vertical axial tonal lines, and strategic intentional visualization to focus on the areas of the body that are known to host the distortions. Consciously navigating photonic light and plasma for rapid removal and acceleration of healing. So we're going to start with an introduction to JSeals. We're going to talk about where they're located, what they look like, why removal is important, and what each one means and correlates to. And then we're going to go get into the entire self-removal video series exclusively for my Patreons. I love you guys so much, and thank you for your continued love and support. Namaste. This is also going to be offered as an interactive service on my website for $88. Okay, guys, so I'm going to jump into the slideshow. And we're going to talk through all of this information going, like I said, from the introduction, and then we will head into the techniques. So I will go ahead and probably post these separate videos so you guys can take your time doing each technique if you want. I am going to recommend a specific structure prior to going through the actual removal system. And that's going to begin with doing the grounding technique. So grounding 1 from my Advanced Avatar Master Practices program. Also doing the Merkaba seal. That is going to just restabilize the bioenergetic field prior to getting into the actual 3 techniques that are going to open up that 7th vertical axial tonal line in the body, then go through the process of self-removing biologically and planetarily, and then we're going to follow up with a liquid light cleanse. That's just going to assist with rapidly accelerating the healing process from removing the JSeals. Okay, guys, so I love you so much, and let's just dive into this video series here. So the 7 Jehovian JSeals are considered the death seals, and this is an implant removal visualization. Okay, so in order for us to go through an implant removal, we have to carry the awareness that the implants ultimately are inside of our body already. Okay, so for many people, this is kind of like just they already immediately know that it's true. They've either experienced a lot of strange mishappenings on the left side of the body. There will be strange pain that one may receive on the left side of the body. My personal experience has been the left side temple and the left side of my arm, actually. So that kind of, to me, has left the idea open that the JSeals could actually be maybe slightly just a little bit different from each person, that each person may have their own personal idea of where their JSeals are located. And I highly encourage, as you go through a JSeal, as you go through this removal, these removal techniques, that if you do feel you possess other JSeals in other locations of the body, that you go through and you visually remove the ones that I may not have listed here today. We are going to go through what is the most common location of the JSeals and what have been basically known since this information has come forward as to what implants and where we remove them. So the 7 seals, and then there's also a handful of other energetic implants, totaling 12 implants, and then a couple others that are just more program, like the cell death program. So we have the 7 JSeals, the Metatronic implants, Templar seals, Templar Axion seals, cell death programs, Crown of Thorns seal, Zeta seal, Tower of Babel seal, and 666 seal, and then the JSeals. Okay, so we will go through a process of removing every one of those implants as we walk through the video. We're going to talk about the importance of removal. So everyone is born with these energetic distortions in the human body known as the unnatural seals. I almost think of them as if they are pinching arteries. Like it's almost like there's a pinch or a kink in the artery where they're connecting in. These were creationally designed within the pre-matter bioenergetic templates of the genetics. So they actually may have had a hand in the designing of the physical form. These seals were not created by divine source. They were descended through slavery collective soul genetic encodements of the fallen sons of man. These were also installed by fallen Adashis who achieved Rishik bodies in this form. The higher realms of intelligences, the giants walking around in the 6th dimension looking down on human or through human. Okay, these beings typically command from here, and they are currently installing frequency nets in the cosmic structural orders, causing possession or entrapment. So that's just something to be aware of. Eons ago, fallen intruder races called Jehovian, Anunnaki, implanted the JSeals in the planet's grid. And then this has metamorphosized into Vecca quantum systems, which subsequently created reverse mutation genetics for the human being. This was done intentionally to digress our DNA, which resulted in a full disconnection from our higher reality fields, limiting our awareness, limiting all our multidimensional abilities. It was meant to destroy our silicate matrix template, the original human genetic imprint, permanently, stripping away our divine inheritance and our ability to ascend and evolve. We have been purposely cut off from knowing our higher identity, the true structure of our multidimensional anatomy, and the means by which we can expand our awareness and transmute our DNA and biology beyond the limitations of third-dimensional reality. These distortions have prevented us the ability to embody the DNA resurrection codes and the ascension codes in order to transmute or leave the lower planetary consciousness fields of reality experience. So that's limiting the ability to dematerialize and go through the totality of the process of ascension within this lifetime. It is time to awaken from the hologram of our genetically imposed mortality and reclaim our eternal nature, and finally re-enter the space-time matter fields of higher evolution and beyond for those who are ready. The removal of the unnatural seals is a step in that direction, but this is not the total fix. The seals are more like plugs, and you are capable of being plugged back in at all times if one is to lose total awareness of the structures as they come in all different sizes, shapes, and forms, and sometimes appear to be coated in the light. Okay? Also, everybody that you're going to encounter, unless they are doing JSeal removals, is going to be plugged in, okay? So if you're not conscious of that at all times, you can very easily become plugged in. You can do this JSeal removal session today, self-uninstall, and then go out and get plugged back in tomorrow. Okay, so you have to stay vigilant and aware of the implant mutations. It's almost like an energetic tethering that you are capable of tuning back into at any time. The human DNA print has been functioning below its capacity for thousands of years, which has served to block the intended process of higher identity embodiment through which the conscious awareness would naturally expand into multidimensionality. The human genetic imprint was originally designed to hold 12 dimensions of consciousness, which is the total embodiment of a full avatar identity that was exemplified 2,000 years ago by Yeshua. It is designed to manifest 12 strands of operable DNA, which allows for perception and embodiment of and bodily transmutation, transmigration through 12-dimensional fields and their corresponding levels of matter density. The silicate matrix is the hidden evolutionary potential that presently lies dormant within the human genome. So it is time that we reclaim our birthright of the silicate matrix template. Jehovian Anunnaki designed the JSeals to drag Earth and all of its life forms into the phantom matrix, into the reverse, which is their matrix, in order to fulfill their agendas of continually recycling us for food and to use us for their resources. When the JSeals fully activated, they started to activate in the year 2000. It causes biological death with the astral body, consciousness being drawn into the phantom matrix. In other words, they were not intentionally created for the specific purpose of sucking Earth and all its inhabitants into the shadow Earth that will descend. So do not go into fear with this information. Becoming consciously aware of what has purposely been hidden from you only empowers you to take positive action for yourself. Also keep in mind the historical context in which way we identify the JSeals, okay? The Hebrew Israelites are the 3D descendants of the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were our Hebrew Israelite ancestor gods, and these gods had a hand in the creation of mankind. So the removal of these seals is a highly spiritual, symbolical, metaphorical, emotional, and genetic experience in balancing the divine feminine collective energy, because Enlil, Anunnaki God, passed down to the Hebrews patriarchal customs. Hence why all seals are on the feminine side of the body, and the seals continue to represent the etheric acts of suffering, the progressional revelations of spiritual warfare. They represent the Anunnaki family feud played out in the Sumerian and biblical texts. This is being played out biologically and planetarily. Removing the seals offers ancestral redemption in the bloodline, freedom of ancestral slavery contracts, and a free will act of self-realization that echoes through eternity and future collective identities of self. This will also be rewiring your brain through its all-seeing eye to think without the intermediary lens of mind control, like the eye of Yahweh, eye of Jehovah, the eye of Horus, and other religious control mechanisms requiring salvation or redemption must be broken away in order to see the mind of one God. What is hidden manipulates. What and who attains higher consciousness will be tempted to manipulate lower life forms as well. That's another very important thing to be aware of as you continue to attain more intelligence through your ascension. This total self-awareness, sovereignty, and humility as a soul is also a crucial practice as you remove the plugs and ascend higher. You are now also be giving access to the same knowledge as the original sin. What is exposed no longer has power. So this is how the seals will look. For many, the seals may resemble a plug. This will be at the base end closest to the body, tethered into the DNA artery, meiotic and deodotic points, chakras, and biological matter body. So in this picture, the plugs are actually coming away from the body, but when I did my removal, it made more sense to visualize the plugs at the base end of the tethering closest to the body, as if the cords are coming out of the body and entering into the actual matrix system itself, or the planetary system itself. So you are actually like walking around plugged in. The tethering, once pulled, will enter a designated location for dematerialization as we go through the techniques. So if your seals visually are connected through etheric tethers, keep them together through the visualization. As you move through the seal removal, we will release them all at once. So this is a picture of where the seventh tonal line is going to look like in the biological form. This will coincide the planetary grid system as well. 7 unnatural seals are located on the left side of the human body, the 7th axial tonal line that feeds our energetic meridian system and the feminine aspects of ourselves. They cause the progressive and unnatural deterioration of the mental, emotional, and physical bodies, and sometimes the energetic block will manifest itself as a severe illness. And like I said, it may also come as pain, headaches, feel like your arteries are being pinched, random manifested injuries on the left side of the body. Have you noticed the most of the physical problems that people have typically are on the left side of their body? This is from these distortions. These seals are responsible for many of these pains and problems and areas that people have on the left side of their body, because these seals affect the energetic circulatory system of the body. And once these seals are removed, in most cases, the problems dissipate because it helps to restore your original organic imprint for health. So currently, with having these seals installed, this is going to block energy flow in the feminine biological axial tonal line. It can cause physical manifestation blockages, prevent most from 4th strand DNA activation, and it initiates most physical diseases and ailments. In the book of Revelations, the 7 seals are the 7 symbolic seals that secure the book or scroll that John of Patmos saw in the apocalyptic vision. The opening of the seals of the document occurs in Revelation chapters 5 through 8 and marks the second coming of Christ. In John's vision, the only one worthy to open the book or scroll is referred to as both the Lion of Judah and the Lamb having 7 horns and 7 eyes. This immediately implies that one will have had to risen to the second coming of Christ within for the seals to be opened, for the seals to be released. One would have had to have been able to see the apocalypse, the 4 horsemen, the martyr, the heavenly signs, and the 7 trumpets. These are actual realities that will play out inside one's reality, particularly if they are ready to release the JSeals. This also symbolizes a soul genetic connection to the Anunnaki and the desire to release ancestral karma tied to the soul contracts in the bloodline. The 7 seals contained secret information only known to God until the Lamb and the Lion was found worthy to open the book or scroll and to look at the contents. So this is an Akashic record that is released in one's field after removing the JSeals. This is why it is also beneficial to see the first 4 JSeals as the color sequence of white, red, black, and pale, which do coincide the first 4 seals of the 7 seals. One of the most important things as you begin to self-remove is going to be familiarizing yourself where they are located and what they mean, and being able to visually see where they're located, visually see how you may have them placed inside. Like I said, the anatomy may differ based upon your intuition or your experience with the injuries or the pain or the pinching or the headaches or just whatever it is symptom-wise that you're experiencing on the left side. Take that into account as well, because your JSeal may be a little bit in a different location than what this picture is actually showing. So pay attention to your symptoms. Also focus on those locations as you're going through self-checks, self-scans of your holographic body. Okay, but there are these standard universal implants that seem to be similar for everyone, that following this structure of all of these seals is going to be most beneficial as you self remove, and just think of it almost as kind of like a checklist to make sure that you're getting all the seals. Okay, so I'm just going to run through these really quickly. We have 12th dimensional blockage, the Metatronic implants, we have the Templar seals, and the Crown of Thorns, and then the Templar Axiom seal as well. So all 3 of those, the Templar seals are a 7th to 9th dimensional distortion. Crown of Thorns is going to be a 7th dimensional blockage. Templar Axiom seal is going to be a 7th dimensional blockage. As you come down into the body more, you actually get into the seals and the biological structure. JSeal 1, left side, top skull, left temple. This is going to be the white seal. JSeal 3 in the pineal. This is going to be the black seal. And then also at that point, there's the Templar seal. This is a 6-dimensional blockage. It's like two seals on the pineal gland. JSeal 7, you have aorta artery, left side of the neck. That is not going to be a color, but if you would like to visualize red, that seems to be helpful. JSeal 4, left lymph nodes, left side of neck. This is going to be the pale seal. JSeal 6, alta major, hypothalamus, left shoulder top. This one particularly bothers me. This one actually extends down into my arm about midway. Okay, so just make sure you're, covering more area than just where the seal is as you visualize and remove. Then you come down, you have the zeta seal, 4th dimensional frequency fence. Okay, that's a 4th dimensional heart chakra blockage. This is the one that most commonly prevents people from ascending. We have the cell death programs, seal 5, left thigh buttocks. This is not a color, but like I said, if they don't have a color, you can stick with red. And then we have the Tower of Babel seal, 666 seal. So apart from the J seals, there are other implants and seals which affect your DNA template. Okay, so we're just going to go through a little bit what the additional seals do mean. I'm not going to read all of this word for word, but I'm going to go through some of it because it is important to know what they mean, because it's important to know the meaning, to know why you're removing them. Why do I feel like I need to remove this? Okay. Metatronic implants are a series of implants that are designed to rapidly reverse the activating DNA template, and it is the reverse shadow body as opposed to the ascending, evolving 12-dimensional body. Keep in mind, though, ascension and descension is a normal process. It is very much a planetary process. Clockwise energetic rotation and counterclockwise energetic rotation is something to master, particularly as you learn how to dematerialize and as you learn how to enter into gate sites, retract back into the DNA molecule, and go through what is considered the all-seeing eye, right? So that can be perceived through an ascension and descension process. But the Metatronic implants are almost like the phantom layer that pulls it into false systems, okay? Pulls it into a wormhole type system. So that's why we would remove the Metatronic implant. We also have the Templar seals. The Templar seals have been passed on genetically over time and now affect the majority of the population, making physical ascension impossible. The Templar seal involved the removal of the 6th base tone of the DNA strand 2, the 6th overtone from strand 4, and the 12th overtone of strand 5, which created massive distortions within the astral, auric, mental, and emotional bodies, locking consciousness into the 3D time cycles. Okay, this is also, you can kind of think of this as these are like, not only are they religious seals, where one stays within a religion or a boundary, like I said, that keeps them in that requiring that salvation or redemption. But this also can look like our calendar systems as well. So the calendar systems very much keep one in a Templar seal. So technically, in order for biological transmutation and ascension to take place, we do require to braid the 12 magnetic base tones with the 12 electrical overtones. And the magnetic represents the feminine energy and the electric is the masculine. Within each DNA strand, the corresponding to the dimensional frequencies we are inhabiting, and this results in a upfolding of the physical form to reappear in the next harmonic. And harmonics are simply tones, and that's why we'll be working within the axial tonal line, and that is how we clear to raise up into the next harmonic. I do feel those Templar seals extend, I said 7 to 9, but they're probably very much 10th dimensional as well. They are very much a seal that is placed on the oversoul. So it's very important to be thinking about that as you remove. The seventh dimensional Templar Axion seal is the removal of the sixth base tone of the first DNA strand, the sixth base tone of the fifth strand, and the sixth base tone of the sixth DNA strand. As a result of these distortions in the genetic codes, people are unable to assemble their DNA adequately to qualify for the next harmonic universe. And that's also within the tonal chords, like I was just saying. This is one of the reasons why so many people are not waking up during the ascension cycle. They actually physically cannot pass through and embody their I am presence. People who have had these seals energetically removed then do feel that they can begin to rapidly integrate their higher dimensional frequencies and their higher harmonics in preparation for biological transmutation and ascension during this current ascension cycle. We also have the cell death programs. This is apoptosis, or what science terms as cells committing suicide, and the telomeres becoming shorter. Science believes that apoptosis is normal. However, it was never intended by divine source for us to die and reincarnate. Cell death programs have shortened humanity's lifespan in order to keep us reincarnating. The crown of thorns. So the crown of thorns is an energy configuration above the head, which distorts the natural energetic circulatory system and blocks the receiving of the primal life force currents from your higher identity, which spans through your 4th through 15 dimensional self. This is a very emotional implant for many. This is considered the crucifixion implant. So this is an energetic crucifixion of humanity. The crown of thorns scrambles the universal currents and prevents its continuous flow through our gateway, which are our chakra system, and to higher consciousness, keeping us stuck in a third dimensional frequency fence. We also have the Zeta seal. Everyone has the Zeta seal in their energetic physiology. This genetic manipulation involved the removal of the second base tone and second and third overtones in the 4th DNA strand, which created a hidden frequency fence on Earth. The result of this has been that people have been unable to access their soul identity, higher self, intuitive body, which would otherwise serve to direct them along a more favorable pathway of choices in their lives. This is also one of the main reasons why people are not waking up and recognizing what is transpiring on Earth right now. And as a result of this interface, the sleeping masses continue their lives completely unaware of the cosmic events unfolding around them as they remain focused within the third dimensional reality fields. And this is that very linear mind, very much being unable to exit the physical constructs and simply just be in the space-time. So we also have the Tower of Babel seal, and this one was one that was placed by invader races, and this caused a temporary collapse of Earth's magnetic grids with the intent to set Earth's planetary shields into reverse sequence. This caused a mutation in the human DNA template. The mutations in the DNA template blocked the unnatural Kundalini flow in the body, causing malfunctions of the pineal, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the thyroid glands, leading to a shortened human lifespan, blocked higher sensory perceptions, and caused the loss of race memory and a scrambling of our original language patterns, which are built upon DNA template fire letter sequencing. Our race has been amnesic and dying young ever since. This historical event was recorded as the biblical Tower of the Babel story. So clearing the Babel seal is going to activate your Kundalini and your higher sensory perceptions. So to sum this up, also the 666 seal as well. This is going to be the removal of indoctrination and the satanic worship that feeds upon that energy. So to sum this up, since humanity has been disconnected from our original divine template, the majority of us have had no idea why we are here, what our purpose is, as we have no guidance from our higher self. So basically, we are lost, walking aimlessly around only to die young, and then have to come back and do it all again. So yes, biological death is not natural to our angelic human DNA or indigo DNA templates. But it is a natural process that we are meant to biologically ascend, which is the drawing in of light to transform the body into light. We were not designed to be stuck here in the third dimensional reality, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And I have found that we can consciously shift these contracts ourselves as we choose, and as we have more death and rebirth in this physical incarnation. Every time that this happens, you have the choice to rewrite these contracts and free yourself from these contracts as well.